This evening, Guyana's government will allow law-abiding Venezuelans seeking help to stay. The PPPC responds to race-baiting allegations at a press conference this afternoon. UNICEF launched a workshop today to reduce the rate of school dropouts. Russian language program launched at the National Library. In the region, in St. Vincent, opposition senator is concerned about the condition of cells in the Central Police Station. And internationally, Hillary Clinton is officially the first female candidate to be nominated for the presidency of the United States of America.
From Safetv headquarters in South Rival Gardens, this is Safetv Headline News with George Gonzalez.
Headline News is now being streamed live on our YouTube channel, as well as our website, safetvguyana.com. Join us. Minister of State and Secretary of Cabinet Joseph Harmon said that on humanitarian grounds, the coalition government will not turn back Venezuelans who came to Guyana seeking help. However, he further pointed out that if they broke the law, the courts would take action against them. Andrew Weeks reports.
When more than a dozen Venezuelan refugees fled to Guyana to avoid a worsening economic crisis in their country, they were on Monday fined and deported after appearing at the Georgetown Magistrates Courts. On Thursday, at post-cabinet press briefing, Minister of State was asked if the coalition government would turn a blind eye on Venezuelan refugees who did not observe their laws on immigration policy, given the humanitarian crisis the oil-rich country is facing. Minister Harmon said,
"Well, the law is the law. The government will not tell the courts how to act. The fact that the persons were actually brought to the court meant that there would have been some offense that had been committed. Very often when people go to court, they manufacture these defenses on their way to court. And so I would not think that people would not try to find a defense once they're going to court.
Sources have confirmed that an additional 100 refugees are expected to be deported in the coming week. Minister Harmon said that Guyana has a humanitarian side, but do not break our laws.
But what I can say to you is that we have a very humanitarian approach to this matter. We believe that we have a responsibility in this part of the hemisphere to demonstrate that we are warm, we are welcoming, and we are a hospitable country, and that be they Venezuelans, Brazilians, Sudanese, or whatever, once they are faced with those circumstances, that we will not come down with a harsh hand on them. All we require is that they respect our laws and that they come through the proper ports of entry to report their presence in Guyana.
President David Granger had told media operatives that while the situation in the neighboring country was a cause for concern given the territorial controversy between the two countries, his administration had not worked out a plan for dealing with the refugees. Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force, Brigadier Mark Phillips, has assured the nation that the Army has been placed on high alert and has been proactively monitoring the situation. Minister Harmon reiterates government's position on its territorial integrity.
We, of course, have our responsibility to ensure the integrity of our borders and that the immigration procedures which are applied to any person who comes to Guyana, that we will apply those procedures. And so anybody coming from Venezuela for food and things like that, we have not made any major statement on that matter. In fact, we support people who come to Guyana on those grounds.
George, the economy of Venezuela has been in crisis since the decline in oil prices on the world market, and its people has been suffering. In fact, the mayor of Venezuela's capital had warned that neighboring countries such as Guyana would suffer an influx of refugees from Venezuela as food shortages continue to prevail in the country. George, back to you.
Thanks, Andrew. As it relates to race baiting, the People's Progressive Party Civic called a press conference earlier this evening to produce some evidence, which the party feels would support the bold statement made by former President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo that people of East Indian origin were under attack from the coalition government. But is the evidence accurate? You can find out in tomorrow's edition of this newscast. The Embassy of the Russian Federation launched the teaching of the Russian language yesterday at the National Library. Andrew Weeks was there and filed this report.
It is the first time in Guyana that the Russian embassy made this very important decision to share with the Guyanese one of the most important part of their culture, their language. Alexei, chargé d'affaires and third secretary of the Russian embassy, said that the Russian language was one of the most beautiful languages in the world, which contained more special words for human feelings without any analogies than any foreign language.
Which is the language of the great poets which lose their beauty and strength when translated into other foreign languages. I just escape saying that this is one of the 6 languages of the United Nations, but this is the 7th most widespread language in the world. And this is the most widely spoken language in Eurasia, and the largest country in the world is such as Russia.
Mr. Alexei said that he was very happy to know that students would enjoy the treasures of the old literature and art only those who can speak Russian can understand. Meanwhile, Professor Victoria Pananova, who would be teaching the Russian language at the National Library, made the following remarks.
And I am so glad to know that so many people are interested in this Russian culture, Russian language, and I would like to share my knowledge with everyone. So I am waiting each of you in my classes, and I hope you will enjoy it. Thank you.
The acting mayor, Sherrod Duncan, and chief librarian, Emily King, also made remarks at the launching of the Russian Federation language classes.
It is with immense gratitude and thanks that we welcome the study of the Russian language, now open to the public here in the municipality of Georgetown, our national capital city. We welcome the fact that the other aspects of the Russian culture will also be covered. As it is said, there is not a culture from which we cannot learn.
We feel that this venture would help to grow our citizens as the relationship develops. And I add my voice with that of the charge affairs as well as the deputy mayor to encourage our citizens in Georgetown and beyond to partake and to participate in the classes as they are offered and to make full use of them.
The ribbon was cut by Charge d'Affaires of the Russian Embassy and was witnessed by the chief librarian, Emily King, representatives of the National Library, the Mayor and City Council, and many others. It was not said what days of the week the exercise will take place, nor was a commencement date announced. But according to many, this new language joins the rest of embassies here that are doing likewise. George, according to the chief librarian, Emily King, efforts will be made to have students from outside of the region to make use of the opportunity to learn the Russian language. But I can tell you from what I have seen and heard when the language was spoken, I will be heading there to register at the beginning level of the course. George, back to you.
Thanks, Andrew. Coming up on Headline News after the break, East Kanji driver is the victim of carjacking and assault. And several months after local government elections, Region 5 has difficulties hosting a statutory meeting.
Everybody knows John Lewis Styles as the Levi's and Dockers store. But did you know we're also an authorized dealer for Nautica, Perry Ellis, US Polo, Natural Issue, Joffrey Bean, and many others. We also carry the Bruno and Drill brands, who are actually the makers of Express shirts, at half the price of Express. So the next time you think of men's clothing, shoes, and accessories, there's only one choice. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
With a distinctive flavor, Umda Palkagi is made from 100% pure vegetable oil. This palkagi is a delight when preparing sweetmeats and other dishes for healthy cooking with a rich buttery taste and aroma. It is used for religious purposes and is a principal fuel for burning. Unga palka ghee is light, pure, with a real ghee texture.
Greetings, Guyana. This is Lieutenant Messenger, inviting one and all to the Golden Jubilee Emancipation Festival to be held on the 1st of August 2016 at the National Park in Georgetown. Come and see the Messenger live and kicking. God's willing. See you there.
Showtime, 6 p.m. Tickets $1,000. VIP $4,000. Tickets available at Nigel Supermarket and Makita on Albert Street. Compliments of Acta and Banks Beer. Have fun in Banks Country.
It's the sizzling summer sale going down on the 29th of July at Clearance, where prices are hot, hot, hot. Get up to 50% off items store-wide. I'm talking gents, sneakers, jeans, shirts, jerseys, caps, and everything you need for that sizzling summer look. And for the ladies, we have tops, jeans, short pants, flip-flops, dresses, sunshades, and everything that you ladies would need to give you that sexy summer look. Remember, the sizzling summer sale goes down for one day only on the 29th of July, right here at Clearance, always keeping you in style.
Only at Kissoon's can you get the guaranteed offer of up to 50% discount on every item in their blowout factory surplus sale. 50% off for Guyana's 50th anniversary right through the year. Check it out at their spacious factory outlet at Reinfeldt Industrial Park, where parking is no problem. They're in the mood to celebrate at Kissoon's. Once you want it, Kissoon's will make sure you don't leave without it.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's the dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
An East Kanji taxi driver is now recuperating from several stab wounds and a broken arm after being the victim of an attempted carjacking around 10 o'clock on Monday morning. Lisa Hamilton has more on this story.
The driver, Tunilal Dudnot, recounts that the passenger, whom he describes as being clad in black clothing, requested that Dudnot took him to the last house at the end of the lone West Canefield East Kanji Street. Upon arriving at the destination, Dudnot asked the passenger if he lived at the house, at which time the passenger proceeded to stab him several times about his shoulder, chest, and arm as Dudnot struggled to remove his seatbelt. The 53-year-old taxi driver was then ordered out of the car and instinctively ran. The carjacker then took to the front seat of the taxi and began to reverse the car out of the street. Despite his injuries, Dudnot ran back to the car. Eyewitnesses report that Dudnot was then struck by the car after the carjacker accelerated into him, hitting him with the rear of the vehicle. Dudnot got up and ran, calling for help, and was struck again into a nearby drain. Dudnot was knocked unconscious, but later regained consciousness and crawled out of the drain with a broken arm. Persons nearby came to the injured man's rescue, washed him, and took him to the New Amsterdam hospital, where he recovers. Just last month, another taxi driver, Gladwin Brandis, of Green Ice Taxi Service, fell victim to a carjacking and was beaten and thrown out of his vehicle at Plum Park, Safetv. The men, however, were forced to abandon the car after Brandis threw his starter key into a nearby trench. Back to you, George.
Thanks, Lisa. A collaborative effort between the Ministry of Education and UNICEF launched a workshop today at the Regency Suites. The workshop is being used to reduce the rate of school dropouts in Guyana. Kingsley Bryan has more in this report.
Some 60% of Guyanese children do not receive a nursery education, while 15% of the country's adolescents are school dropouts. This fact is becoming more and more worrying, so the Ministry of Education is partnering with UNICEF to conduct a study aimed at reversing this trend. Deputy Representative of UNICEF, Mr. Markey, told those gathered that the figures were there, but what caused the high numbers was yet to be determined.
They might have been born in a remote area, or have a disability, or are live in a disadvantaged or poor family, or they don't understand, or the language they are taught is not their primary language, or because they are bullied, or else. We don't know, we have a lot of anecdotes, but we don't know the causes. So understanding the causes is a key prerequisite to then develop plans and programs to make sure all children in Guyana can attend school in an inclusive manner.
Marquez said that Guyana is committed to the Sustainable Development Goals, and one of those goals spoke to inclusive and quality education for all, and the promotion of lifelong learning. He relayed that UNICEF was committed to ensuring that goal was realized, hence the purpose of the workshop, to find out the root causes.
And we will be here to provide the country and the Ministry of Education, when requested, the needed support to make sure that all children in Guyana, in a few years, we can look back and say that all children in Guyana will have a good quality education.
The Deputy Representative said it was hoped that the workshop would provide the understanding to eradicate the scourge in the near future. Acting Chief Education Officer Ms. Donna Chapman noted that having all the data was not enough.
Are we really using the data to inform us to make better decisions? Are we using the data to help those children who have not been performing that well? Not only the data, using data at the school level, but are the curriculum planners using the data, test development officers, regional officers, and the instructional leaders.
Ms. Chapman noted that other factors contributed to the high school dropout levels and not just social influences. There was a call for a closer look to be taken at the education system, since we may be lacking. In this regard, Ms. Chapman also asked whether teachers are being trained to carry out remedial education. George, back to you.
Several months after the holding of local government elections, developmental works in many regions still have not commenced. Rihanna Ahmad will explain what is happening in Region 5.
The chairman of Region 5, Vic Chan Ramphal, is blaming the councillors who represent the APNU-AFC coalition. According to him, the unruly behavior of these councillors has been preventing the holding of statutory meetings.
Thursday, the 21st of July, 2016, was the 7th such disruption, this time from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., continuously preventing the statutory meeting from being held and conducting its business. This intolerable situation has seen no incisive reaction from President David Granger.
The entire situation is as a result of Ramphal not attending a regional function, which was attended by the head of state. The APNU-AFC councillors have been demanding that the PPP chairman apologize to the president before the work of the council can resume. Ramphal is, however, adamant to do so because he says he didn't do anything wrong.
All records have shown I was not invited.
Ramphal told reporters gathered at Freedom House yesterday that the police were also approached to restore order, but to no avail.
Well, the police said that they cannot intervene unless there is some physical alteration in the meeting.
In the meantime, work in the region has been stalled.
The council has been unable to excavate and clean important canals, drains and trenches that comes under its control, which have caused millions of dollars in losses due to floods. Schools are falling apart throughout the region. The children of Martis Nursery School in Maikoni had been without a school building for over 2 months.
Hospitals and health centers in the region are also said to be understaffed and without basic drugs. The councillors are calling on the government to intervene. George?
Thanks, Rihanna. Still ahead are regional and international news.
Women's fashion trends change every day. That's why John Lewis Styles makes it their duty to source items directly from the manufacturing brand, offering you more choices and better prices. Women love to look great, whether it's for work or play, from clothing, shoes, accessories, to handbags, watches, fragrances. Let's make you feel like the only girl in the world. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
With a distinctive flavor, Palkagi is made from 100% pure vegetable oil. This Palkagi is a delight when preparing sweetmeats and other dishes for healthy cooking with a rich buttery taste and aroma. It is used for religious purposes and is a principal fuel for burning. Palkagi is light, pure, with a real ghee texture.
Don't let this moment in history pass you by. Kissoons want every Guyanese home to showcase a new piece of furniture to remember this glorious event of our Jubilee celebration. Kissoons have gone crazy. Every item is on sale right through this year in the Big Broad Factory Surplus Sale, up to 50% off for the 50th birthday at Kissoons.
This is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's for dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you have a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
In news from the region now, in St. Vincent, opposition senator, lawyer, and human rights activist Sherlan Zita Barnwell has expressed concerns about the conditions of the cells at the Central Police Station in Kingstown. Eyewitness News reports.
Now, sometimes you talk about the justice system, you talk about one's human rights, and it can end up in a kind of a heated discussion. And as an aside, I just want to say, when we went to the police station to accompany Imad for his electronic interview, right there is a small cell that has about not more than 7 young men confined there. And one was lying on a bench. I cannot say how long they were detained there. And I believe they were being held there to be taken over to them. I saw 3 of them this morning in the magistrate court. And 3 of them, either 3 or 4 of them, were lying on the floor. Now, when you look at that, you're saying, even though I am being detained, am I not entitled to be treated in a humane manner?
Exactly. That's right.
People may look at this and say, oh, them are young boys and a young boys. But you have to remember, we are first human beings. Human beings, and must be treated properly. They have not been convicted of a crime, You have been holding me and detaining me. You're denying me of my liberty, and you can't treat me properly. You're treating me as if, I don't even want to say animal, because we must also respect and treat animals properly. As though we are things to just be cast and treated anyhow, any which way. How do you have people there who are just on remand, have not said I am guilty, have not been proven guilty, and treating them like crap?
And internationally, following her husband's impassioned speech, Hillary Clinton was officially named the first female candidate for a major party to be nominated for President of the United States. Whether the Democratic Party will unite behind her is yet to be seen. DW News reports.
It's a moment for the history books. The Democratic Party nominates Hillary Clinton as its candidate for the presidential election in November. Clinton is the first woman ever to earn the top slot from either of the 2 major U.S. parties. And Bernie Sanders, Clinton's bitter rival during the primary contest, helped make it official.
And I move that Hillary Clinton be selected as the nominee of the Democratic Party for President of the United States.
A roaring triumph for Clinton. In a video message to the crowd, she called it a step forward for all women.
We just put the biggest crack in that glass ceiling yet.
And her husband, former President Bill Clinton, also stepped into the spotlight on her big night. It was his turn to play the role of devoted spouse, convincing voters that his wife is the commander-in-chief America needs right now.
Healthcare coverage to reserve it. But for this time, Hillary is uniquely qualified to seize the opportunities and reduce the risk we face. And she is still the best darn change maker I have ever known. I married my best friend. I was still in awe after more than 4 years of being around her at how smart and strong and loving and caring she was. God bless you. Thank you.
Even with a supporting cast of Democratic all-stars, some polls show Hillary Clinton is now behind the Republican candidate Donald Trump. She needs the entire party's loyalty in the race for the White House, but the Democrats are still racked by division. In the wings of the convention, continued protests from disgruntled delegates. Whether the party unites behind its candidates may only be seen on Thursday, when Hillary Clinton delivers her victory speech. And it could well be the most important of her career.
And that's Safetv 2 headline news for this Wednesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Safetv 2 headline news on Facebook, YouTube, and safetvguyana.com. You can also tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 for a rebroadcast and Thursday evening at 7 o'clock for more news. For now, I'm George Gonzalez, signing out from this newscast. Do have a blessed evening.